All right, let's talk about the MMA, or really just the UFC updated rankings list. I'm giving you the updated rankings after this weekend's card in Saudi Arabia. Haven't done these updates in a while because really nothing much has changed. When you look at 311, it's like you're not really going to change anything between Moicano and Umar, and Islam is obviously still champ. Marab's still champ. There just wasn't too much to go on. Yuri and Jamal Hill were two top guys fighting each other. The higher ranked guy won, so there wasn't too much to change. But this week there is, and it starts with the women's division. So in bantamweight, I want to let you know that in the women's bantamweight division, Mayra Bueno Silva's gone from the rankings. She is no longer a bantamweight. Granted, she could go somewhere in here at flyweight, but she just lost dominantly to Jasmine Jasudavicius, who was ranked number 13. So I think Mayra Bueno Silva is going to need a win to get back in here because we're coming off a couple losses in a row now between Macy Chiasson, who's obviously a top ranked bantamweight, Raquel Pennington, obviously a top-ranked bantamweight, and now Jasmine Jasudavicius, who again was a 13th ranked flyweight, but it's another loss, and she looked like she got dominated. So we're going to talk about this one. Jasmine Jasudavicius was ranked number 13, moved her up to 9. Just think that she has had a number of very impressive victories recently, and she's won them all pretty dominantly. Like she won 30-27 over Mayra Bueno Silva. You're looking at Ribas coming off a couple losses now. Vivian Araujo, I think, is coming off a loss. Cortez, Karine Silva, all these women coming off a loss. And you're looking, and I'm looking right here at Jasmine Jasudavicius, and she beat by decision Mayra Bueno Silva. She subbed Ariane De Silva. She beat Fatima Klein, who I think is a very, very good fighter. And then she subbed Priscilla Cachoeira. So her loss before that, yes, was to Tracy Cortez, but now she's put together a 4-fight win streak. And listen, I don't think Cortez is that good. She even kind of got a robbery, in my opinion. I don't know if it was a robbery. I'm kind of just yapping, but I mean, she's more likely to get a judge's decision when she can move it like that. But we're going to move on to the next fight in the card. Obviously, we skipped the Hamdi fight because there's no ranking involved in that one. Pogues won. He could have probably went 15 if they gave him the win against that, but obviously Bogdan Grad ain't making it to the featherweight rankings just yet. Terrence McKinney's not making it over or after a win over Demir Hadzovic. But we're gonna go right to heavyweight, and there's a couple of different things to look at here. Shamil Gaziev is the first guy we're going to take a look at. I'm moving him up 2 spots from 14 to 12. I just think a knockout win over a guy like Thomas Peterson's more impressive than a TKO leg kick win from Marcos Rogerio de Lima over someone like Junior Tafa. I actually think Thomas Peterson's a lot better than a lot of these other heavyweights that these guys have fought. And Mick Parkin also, yeah, he knocked out like Lucas Bursky, but all his other fights are like not great looking decisions where I get it, dude. Like Shamil's coming off a recency bias like round 1 KO, but it was a round 1 KO. He went to round 4 with Rosenstrike, and he just dominated Boudet. I just haven't seen like Mick Parkin really dominate anyone other than Lucas Bursky with a round 1 KO or Marcos Rogerio de Lima with a leg kick KO over Junior Tafa. So I think Shamil Gaziev's win actually gets him up a little bit more in the rankings. I think it's deserving. And De Lima and Mick Parkin just moved down one. Now, Mick Parkin's probably going to be fighting. I think he is fighting very soon, so we may see some things change there. Marcos Rogerio de Lima hasn't fought in a year. So, listen, I'm not going to keep him above Shamil Gaziev for just gatekeeping a ranking spot, so we're not doing that. We're moving Shamil up to 12 from 14. Porkin goes down from 13 to 14, and De Lima goes down from 12 to 13. You can even put Mick Parkin above Marcos Rogerio de Lima, but I just chose to do otherwise. Also, Rosenstrike and Pavlovich in this division. Listen, they went to a decision. Pavlovich was ranked 4, got the win. It wasn't the prettiest, but he got the win. You have guys above or below him like Blades, who's coming off a loss to Aspinall and got knocked out by Sergey. And then you have Almeida, who's coming off a win, but it was against Sergey Spivak. And he also lost to Curtis Blade, so that's why they haven't jumped Pavlovich. I didn't move him down. Pavlovich got the win. And Rosenstrike, again, he'll beat guys like Tybura. I think he's better than a Derek Lewis. I think he's better than Tai Tuivasa. So I'm going to keep him in the same spot. He lost to Sergey. He lost by decision. Is what it is. It's going to stay there. But moving on, we skip another fight here. Muhammad Naimov is not ready for the featherweight rankings yet. He may be ready for a featherweight ranked fighter, maybe. But we'll see. He's not jumping in the rankings yet. For I'm someone that I wanted to put in the top 15 of flyweight, but I'm just going to show you lightweight. But I'm going to show you what lightweight looks like right now. Like, I can't put him over Joel Alvarez. I get it. He beat a very impressive Mike Davis, but Joel Alvarez finished a card close in a round, and Joel Alvarez is finishing everybody. Freziam looked really good, man. I kind of wanted to put him in here instead of Jalen Turner, but not just yet. It hasn't been a full year since Jalen Turner's fought, so I take that into consideration. Love him to have him over Chandler because Chandler doesn't win fights, but it is what it is. But that's why I don't have Faresiam in here. These guys haven't really like deserved to be bumped down yet, or at least out of the rankings yet. Maybe Benoit, dude, but we'll see. Vinicius Oliveira, another guy I wanted to put in the bantamweight rankings, but I just couldn't. Like, you can't do it yet. Granted, I think his win over Saeed is better than Kyler Phillips' win over Pedro Munoz, but I just couldn't do it yet. Honestly, dude, you could put him in over J Mart, but you guys know I'm a J Mart fan, and I just don't think he deserves to get out of the rankings yet. I mean, I don't know. I should have Ayman Zahabi in here, but again, like he goes to a competitive decision with fucking Pedro Munoz, so I don't get why these guys are getting ranked for that when Jonathan Martinez is having a very close fight, just almost finishing Marcus McGee, but losing, and then having, the balls to stand in there with Jose Aldo and actually strike with him to make it entertaining. So I'm going to reward him for that. He's staying at 14, but Vinicius Oliveira is deserving of a ranked opponent. I'm totally cool with him jumping up to fight a Cheeto Vera, fight a Kyler Phillips in the rankings, fight a Mario Batista, a Montel Jackson, anything from like 9 to 15, I'm okay with him jumping up and fighting. And that's how he's going to get into these rankings. But we're going to move on to middleweight, which is where the rest of this will take place. Actually, it should be welterweight first. MVP got a good win over Shara Magomedov. He's going to go back down to welterweight. He beat Shara. I don't think Shara would be ranked at welterweight. I just don't think he's better than these welterweights, but I think it is deserving to get a good win and shut out a striker like that. It moves him up one spot above Vicente Luque, who got a win over Themba Garimbo. So I just rank a win over Shara more than I rank a win over Themba. So I'm going to put MVP up in that one spot. And then we're going to go to middleweight. Never had Shara in the rankings. I had Chris Curtis still in there, but I actually changed it because I think Roman Kopylov deserved the Chris Curtis spot because he beat him. So Roman Kopylov is going to go up to the 14 spot. I think it's deserving at this point. He lost to Anthony Hernandez like everybody does. Shara I don't have in the rankings, dude. I just don't think beating Armin Petrosian, Mihail Olendzejczyk, Antonio Tricoli, I don't think those are, and Bruno Silva, like those aren't ranked wins. Those aren't deserving of the rankings, where I think a Chris Curtis win looks a lot better than any of those, even though Shara did do it with some flash. So I'm going to move him to 14, and then this is what a lot of people are going to disagree with this, but like, because Kaio really didn't do anything to move up. But when I look at like Whitaker getting subbed by Hamzat in a round, coming off a bad loss, Israel Adesanya getting knocked out by Nasruddin Imavov, and also before that losing to DDP, getting choked out, and losing to Strickland, and then 2 fights before the Strickland fight getting knocked out by Pereira, it's like, listen, I get he's fighting the best of the best, but he's lost 4 out of his last 5. I'm not justifying him be above a Caio Borralho who's on a massive win streak and looking dominant doing it. Caio Borralho was way more dominant against Jared Cannonier than Israel Adesanya was. So I'm going to put Caio Borralho above him to the 4 spot. Imavov got the finish. He's obviously jumping up to 3, and some people might say, dude, like, he's kind of should be tied at 2 with Hamzat. I just think when those 2 fight, like, I think Hamzat just gets the job done in the first round. Like, that's just how kind of some of these things go. But regardless, I'm putting Imavov up to 3, which is where Izzy was. Putting Borralho up to 4, which is where Whitaker was. And I'm moving down Whitaker and Israel Adesanya. I think it's the new age, and I think it makes the most sense. And this kind of fixes up the ranking, says, okay, we got log jams here. It'll figure itself out. You got Strickland and DDP figuring it out this weekend, so you'll see some changes up here. And then you find out that it's probably going to be Hamzat fighting the winner next. And then you have Imavov and Borralho kind of sitting and waiting, where I think Borralho should be looking to fight a Whitaker and Adesanya, something like that, to get himself in or the loser of a DDP Strickland. Like, that's kind of how I see it. But these are the rankings updates. Hope you enjoyed them. If you did, please like and subscribe. Just wanted to get this out to you today. Yeah, UFC 312 this week. Stay in the loop for predictions, even though my predictions are shit. They're getting better every week. Start the season terrible. It is what it is, but we're going to get better. You know we are. If you were with me for the ride last year, you know it only gets better as the year goes. So thank you for watching again. Please like and subscribe.